many questions unanswered. Can you talk a little bit about the backstory or your mythology when writing, or what that you had in mind when writing this film?
I started thinking that I was going to make this film in Argentina, but I was developing this for 5 years or so, and then I wasn't sure about it. I thought it was going to be very dramatic. The first idea that I had, very depressing, and it turned out to be very depressing anyway. But I wasn't sure about the initial idea that I had. Then I moved to Mexico, and I thought it was a good idea to make in Mexico that has a bigger history than Argentina. So it's a place where everything has a lot more history. And then I thought that I could make the film in Tijuana, and then I just uh, the ideas appeared in my head, and then when I went for scouting in Tijuana, I found actually a place, a hill where there's supposed to be a demon that lives there. So I thought, this is the right place to shoot. So
Um, do you want to talk about casting and casting Mexican actors, in particular Laura Caro, which is actually a singer in Mexico. She's well known because she was in one of the American Idol type
yeah.
shows. Do you want to talk about how you found everyone and why you chose them in particular?
I made a pretty long casting process in Tijuana. I wanted to have as many actors of Tijuana as I could, and I actually had all of them from Tijuana except for Francisco Barreiro, who plays the father. It's an actor that I like a lot, and I wanted him to be in the movie. But the rest are all from Tijuana, like Giancarlo, and all amazing actors that I found during an extensive process. Giancarlo was actually one of the first ones that we decided. Um, and the case of Laura was very funny because you know, her character was so big, and we couldn't find the right actress for it. And then I met with Laura, who never made a film before. She never acted before, but she had a certain sensibility, a certain uh, qualities that I saw on her that I thought it was going to be perfect, and she turned out to be, I think, really good. And the only thing that we have constantly in all the reviews and everything that you know everybody agrees is her. So I'm really glad she could make it because it's a very difficult role.
Um, I wanted you to, before I open it up to the audience, speak a little bit more about the role of Spanish-speaking directors and Latin American and from Spain in the genre and horror film community, and how maybe American productions are now, well, they have been, but definitely keeping an eye on a group of you. A lot of you guys are friends, and you did ABCs of Death, which we also are playing. But you want to speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think it was like a very long process to finally
Mhm.
get some recognition for some of us who've been making horror films for 10, 15 years now. It's interesting because now you have from all different countries from around Latin America. You have very talented filmmakers. Things like having the remake of Evil Dead directed by an Uruguayan filmmaker, or the Silent House remake, the We Are What We Are remake. Those things obviously mean that they're paying attention to what's going on in Latin America, which is great, because many of our countries, I would say the only exception is Mexico, but the rest of the countries in Latin America don't have any kind of tradition of horror films. So now we're starting to show what we can do.
Does anybody have any questions? Oh, yes.
I was curious about the first scene. Why? Like what?
Why? That's the great question. um, there are a few things. One is I wanted to have an opening scene like the many of the films I love of the 70s that start right off without any kind of credits or anything. And I thought that it was pretty funny. We're supposed now to be more habituados, used to see music videos and commercials and all kinds of stuff. Um, but now it's more difficult to find this kind of opening scenes that right away start with something really powerful. Um, it's like it didn't evolve, but the opposite. You know, it's right now it's you have to give more time to the audience. There are some things that are more like standard, and I think that in the 70s they could do these kind of things right away. That's one thing. The other thing is, to me, you know, there is a line in the film that it's the horror story, which is, you know, the surface of the film. But the other thing that to me is very important is what the film really is about. And the film is really about sex, and you know that's sexual taboos, sexual awakening, lots of things related to that. So I wanted to start right away, you know, having in the first shot of the film what the film is really about. And the other thing is that there's, you know, related to that, there's actually a few elements that tie even more that sequence to other things that happen in the movie that are very hard to realize. I think the first time that you watch the movie, probably you should watch it a few times to realize some connections that there are there. But I can say that it's not the only time that that house appears. It appears twice in the movie, and it's got some connection to it. But you know, if you get it, it's okay. If you don't,
The audio commentary.
yeah, you wait for the audio commentary.
I wanted to ask about Tijuana, because Tijuana I have a personal relationship with, and has so many like I don't know how to say it in English, but like stories and horror stories about different parts of it. I don't know if if while you were there you were inspired more. I mean, you told the story of the mountain, but and also how the people, everyone in the community joined in. I mean, including the captain and
Right.
um, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I heard several stories before I went there,
Mhm.
but you know, there's something very peculiar about that city. It's difficult to describe if you haven't been there. Um, and I was very curious to try to do something. And to me, what was more important, I wanted to do something without any kind of relation with what they usually go to Tijuana to
Mhm.
shoot now. That
Mhm.
is films about
Immigration.
the drugs and immigration and stuff like that. I wanted to, you know, try to find some other stories that I think that they are there. You know, to me that was interesting. But what does someone from Tijuana think about the all the stories about the devil and things like that? What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's great. No, I mean the city has always had a very, I guess, dark and very seedy sort of like history, like any, I guess, sort of a city that's starting with their own history. But I think the movie, I think actually what I like about it is that you don't really see Tijuana as we are usually
Mhm.
accustomed to seeing. So we don't see the border, we don't see Revolucion, we don't see all these sort of monuments or things that we're accustomed to. So he actually was able to sort of get Tijuana, but a side that even us from Tijuana, you know, we have never like seen. So it was very interesting to actually, you know, the way he cut it and shot it. They were like, oh my god, that's it. Definitely, it feels like it, but not really. It's an interpretation, but it's a really good interpretation of the city itself. Yeah.
So,
Right.
if any, we have time for a couple more questions.
Yeah, I
Yes, sir.
recognize some of the streets like in the movie part because I used to drive in that area, and also a lot of they do a lot of woodcuts down there. Yes, they do.
What they say? I
Well,
don't
I
know.
mean, I went to a friend's and then we, I had nowhere to go, and then we went somewhere in this place and they had chicken head cut off and blood and bones, and I'm like, what are you doing here? They do. I mean, that was just something I experienced, but yeah.
I never get to
Yeah,
see.
really.
I never get to know about the donkey show. Also,
Yeah,
the famous donkey show. I never saw that.
Do you have a question back there?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with your previous work, and I don't know if you work in other genre, but why horror? What do you get out of it with like this type of film?
All the films I made are horror films, and I plan to stay working on the genre, but in different, approaching in a different way every time. I think that it's I got a personal connection with the genre. I think because of my probably because of my generation and the way I approach to movies when I was a kid. In the 80s, it was very common to see these amazing 70s and 80s horror films. But besides that, I I think that the thing that I said, I have to work in this genre was that my brother was studying film in Cuba, in the film school of Cuba, and he made his thesis there, his final work. It was pretty amazing. I helped him with the script. I was like 16 years old. He was older. He's older than me. And when he screened the film for the evaluation, there was Costa Gabras, the famous director. He was the president of the jury, and all the jury agreed that it was the best work that year. But Costa Gabras told him that he was wasting his time, and he was wasting his talent in such a vulgar genre. And I thought that he got it all wrong. And it was probably that I thought, we as Latin Americans shouldn't be doing what they are all telling us to do. Because there was something like you should be doing social things, or stuff like that, and I was like, no, we have lots of different stories to tell in Latin America. So probably that was you know crucial.
A lot of good ones, I'm scared.
Absolutely.
So we have time for one more question. Oh, okay. It's fine.
This is I love the scene with the girl when it's drinking the versus burnout. How much did that cost?
This.
Yeah, that whole scene.
Oh, that was the most complicated
Yeah.
we shot in the movie. Not sure exactly how much it cost, but it was probably the most expensive effect we had, and it was expensive also because it took us a lot of time to get it right. But we were very lucky that we had Alfredo Garcia, which is an amazing special effects artist from Mexico. He worked in a lot of big productions that they made there in
Oh, really?
Mexico. Yeah,
Wow.
like
That looks
Apocalipto and
nice.
stuff like that. Yeah, and he did a wonderful job, but it took us
That's
a long
nice.
time. It took us a few weeks to get that the way it had to be. Yeah, and every time I see it, it impressed me.
Well, I want to thank you guys for coming. We really love the film, and they'll be outside if you guys want to come up and ask any other questions. But thanks, everyone.